Welcome everybody to this ITC Air tutorial. Today I'm gonna do a quick overlook of a bunch of the new features in the upcoming 1.6 update. The main focus will be the DSMS system and the fire control radar and the new Maverick targeting systems. Along with this, I'm also gonna just give a quick overview of a lot of the smaller features, and I'm gonna do this by simply getting in an airplane and engaging a couple of targets I've set up for you. Now before we get in the airplane, there's actually a couple of things you can only do outside the aircraft in this mod. Now the first one a lot of people will be familiar with, but has slightly changed. In the old versions, your waypoint system simply was synchronized with your microdagger. It no longer does this. What the aircraft does now is it will simply import all your microdagger waypoints when you enter the aircraft, and after that they will be disconnected from each other. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just set us up some waypoints to fly towards the target, and then a waypoint in our target area. Now that's all nice and set up. We don't have to do anything with that anymore, and we can close our microdagger. The other thing you can do outside of an aircraft is change the laser code on your paveways and your laser rockets. The laser codes these will use cannot be changed once you're inside the airplane. It can only be done externally. Gonna leave that as is for now. They all have 1111 by default, which is also your standard ACE laser code on all systems in the game. Now we'll get into the aircraft and we'll open up our MFDs, and we're going to continue to the DSMS system. Now as you can see, the hardpoints here are not displayed very close to how they would look on, how they actually look on the plane. I have 3 here, 3 there, 1 in the center. So we're gonna try to get it to look like that on here. This can't easily be done automatically, which is why there's a way to customize it, and that is with the inventory system. Now when we click inventory, in the center of the screen we'll have a list of weapons carried by our aircraft, and then on the sides we have the hardpoints that are on the aircraft and what is currently on there. So what I'm going to do is I am going to click the clear button, and I'm just going to clear out all of the existing ones. And now we can start filling them up again. So you can use the arrows here to select a weapon, and then you can simply add it to a hardpoint by clicking it. So we're going to add Hellfire here, GBU, Maverick, and we just continue down the wings. Now the gun pod we won't be adding on any hardpoint, but instead what we can do here is we can click this to change which weapon is our gun. So by default the DSMS assumed that the flares are our gun, which obviously is wrong, so we can click it here and change it to 20mm HE. Now we can go back to the DSMS status, and we can see the hardpoints are nicely lined up, and when we click gun it will select our gun, and otherwise we can select our weapons here. Next up in the DSMS we have a profile system. Now profiles are applied to rockets and bombs. Currently we do not have any settings for systems. The way we use the profile system is simply we click the profile button, we'll get a list of our profiles, we can scroll through it, and we can here click view profile. Now we're on the GBU12 profile page, and on the right side we can set up our ripple settings. There is a mode CCIP CCRP setting here, but it currently is not yet implemented. And here are some bomb specific settings. Now it says nose fuse here. It only has one nose fuse. We can't change that. It doesn't have a tail fuse on it configured, so we'll leave that be. We're gonna scroll down and we'll see an auto LS setting. This is the auto lasing setting. Gonna turn that on. What that does is it will automatically turn on our laser designator whenever we drop a GPU 12. So this is useful when we intend to be self-lasing a lot of targets. Now that that's done, we're gonna take off and head off. I'm gonna just set up my TGP here. The TGP will simply point forward, and when night flying, this can be useful when setting it to nighttime vision. You can also use it as forward-looking infrared, and it can be a handy flying aid in some situations. Now you may have noticed here a check attitude warning comes up. This warning will be shown when your pitch is more than 20 degrees from center, or your bank is more than 90 degrees. Okay, now we'll start navigating towards our target. Gonna use the page up, page down key to just select our steer points. You can see the first one is 12 kilometers down over there. On the right side here we have a little navigation screen that displays compass bearings, our current waypoint, the distance to waypoint, the time of flight to waypoint. On the left it shows our fuel stores and the amount of flight time we have left at the current fuel consumption. So this will rapidly shift up and down as you change your throttle, but it'll give you a nice estimate. Now here we have our altitude above sea level, just in case you like to work with that. Now for this flight I'm gonna use my hotkeys to turn on the autopilot, switch it to altitude and heading mode, and turn it on. And the autopilot can also be changed from the options page. You can simply scroll through, autopilot on, and you can change it, falls through. On this page you can also turn on and off the HMD, your rover, and if you use awesome, there is a compatibility that lets you set a couple of settings for that. Okay, so now we are approaching the target, and I'm gonna start setting up the fire control radar. We're gonna be using this to find our targets. I'll cycle our waypoint and we'll see 14 kilometers in that direction. I'm gonna set my fire control radar for 14 kilometers. Now the fire control radar will scan at that distance, not up to that distance, and it will scan it is scanning in the direction of the little indicator down here. I'm gonna turn towards the target. The autopilot will automatically disengage. I'm gonna start approaching it. Now because the fire control radar actually scans side to side, you can use this on the right to increase the range it scans at, the azimuth, so 16 degrees to either side right now. But if you are looking at a narrow field of view and want really quick updates on your targets, you can set it down to 10, which we're going to do now. I can see already a bunch of radar contacts are popping up. and this is good enough for us to start engaging them. So what I'm going to do now is I am going to enable freeze mode. There you go. Everything on our radar is now frozen. It will keep scanning, but remember the icon here is relative to our plane's direction, no longer to this. Now you can see here one of the contacts is ever so slightly moving and more are popping up. Now we're going to set our SOI to our right MFD. Just going to use our SOI direction keys to slew around to a target, grab our TGP, and then we'll use the SOI slew TGP key, which by default is T, to lock a target. Now we'll have a look at it. So this is a moving target, and as you can see here, the radar does not actually lock onto objects, it will just lock onto wherever it spotted something. So let's cycle some more, and there you go, we've got a couple of tanks, got a ground vehicle, and here we have a Shilka. So we're going to go ahead and engage that with a laser Maverick. To do this, we'll turn on the AGM65E, go to the Maverick page, we'll see this targeting display. So here we see our current code that the Maverick is seeking. If we press code here, we can use the UFC to change this. There you go. I'm going to set it back to the default code. This moving X represents that it is currently not searching, not locked onto anything, it is still searching. And we're gonna grab our TGP up on the other screen. Now, as you will be able to see, our laser is on here, and as we move on, there you see the X turning into a solid block. Now that block indicates that it has a lock. Now the target is slightly obscured from that angle, so we're gonna go around a little. There you go. The TGP now has a point lock, which is indicated by the square around the target, which means it will be tracking it if it moves. Okay, now we'll turn back towards the target. And for the best result, we'll try and get our Maverick as much in the center as possible, and we will fire. As you can see, the left Maverick display no longer shows the laser Maverick targeting page, as we have no more laser Mavericks. And there you go, target destroyed. Now we'll go back to our fire control radar page, and it is still frozen, and we'll just have a look at some other targets. Here we have a moving BMP, and that is a perfect target for the optical Maverick. Now we're a bit close, but we'll turn towards it anyways. And we'll see. We open the optical Maverick page. I'm going to set our field of view to narrow. As you can see, when we lock our TGP, it will also ground stabilize the Maverick on that position. Now we're going to switch our sensor of interest to the Maverick on our left. Use the arrows to move it around. Press T to lock it. And all we have to do then is fire. We'll return to our TGP. There you go. The laser Maverick currently does not apply lead to targets. The optical Maverick will. So the optical Maverick in ITC Air currently is much better fit to engage moving targets. Now we'll turn our laser off and we'll switch to our GPU-12. Find us another target. And there we have it, attack. Now note that our designating laser is turned off. We're gonna drop the GPU anyways, because we have auto lasing turned on, and it's going to automatically enable it. There, as you can see here, our laser has turned itself on. And we will manually have to turn it off again. Now I'm going to give myself some more Arma. And we're going to open the Maverick back up. When using the Maverick, you can see a little Maverick aiming cross in front of you on the HUD. Now when you set your Maverick to sensor of interest, you can move this around with your arrow keys. Search for targets. Now once you have found the target, you can then use your SOI action to ground stabilize it. There you go. And now on the left you'll see your engagement range and the distance to the target. Here you can adjust your slew speed, which will adjust how finely your Maverick sensor will move around when you use your arrows. So 1 is for very precise adjustments, 5 it will move much quicker. Now we're gonna just regularly engage another target with the Maverick, this time not using the FCR. So we'll bring the crosshairs over the target, ground stabilize, we'll narrow our field of view so we have more zoom. There you go. I'll lower the slew speed for more precise adjustment, and then I'll just press T to lock on. And it is not locking onto the right thing. There you go, onto the vehicle. And we will engage. That's all there is to it. Okay, well that is most of the new features explained, along with a little more information on old ones. If you have any more questions, feel free to post them in the comments or join the ITC add-ons Discord that I'll also be linking in the description. Thank you for watching.